after understanding the interface, the tabs which were available to us, let's understand certain terminologies which Microsoft Excel does have. As said, cell, a rectangular box or a block which we have in our worksheet. The cells can be color coded, which means I can format them accordingly. I want to give certain different colors or I want to color them according to certain conditions. I can do it over here. Short text. I can type in text whatever I want. I can have lots of options which are available over here in terms of writing text. Then numbers, as you saw now in the example, I wrote certain numbers and formulas over there that were possibly available and the outcomes of calculation. As we saw that when we calculated the value, the cell was showing me the outcome. The formula bar was showing me the formula, but the cell shows me the outcome of the calculation which is being there. So based on the operation, an active cell is currently open cell for editing. So wherever your cursor is or wherever your name cell is or name box is, that's an active cell and that's a cell where you will definitely add the editing option at that particular instance. Now, proceeding further, we had an Excel workbook. So Excel workbook relates to Excel spreadsheet record. It includes all the data that has been listed, sorted, and calculated. A Excel workbook that is available to be seen and edited by various users on a network is recognized as a shared workbook. So if many people are shared with that one workbook, it's called as a shared workbook and that will be accessible to all of them. Then there is something called as worksheet. Now, definitely a book will have a sheet, and this a sheet available into workbook is known as worksheet. Inside the workbook is where we get documents called worksheets, also recognized as spreadsheet. A user can have multiple worksheets in a single workbook. Then there is a workspace. Now, what's a workspace? I can have lots of Excel workbooks stored within my Excel. So that's a space from where I can select any workbook which I want or I can create a new. So it's very similar to worksheets in a workbook. A workspace enables user to open numerous files simultaneously. Now, when I talk upon formula bar, the formula bar displays the data of an active cells. We saw now what's a formula bar. So when I put my cursor onto the cell, when there is a value associated in the cell, a value was shown in the formula bar. But when there was a calculation being associated with the cell, a calculation has been shown. So in case of formulas, the formula bar will showcase all the components of the formula. Now there is a toolbar, as said, quick access toolbar. So the toolbar that holds quick shortcuts like save, undo, and redo, they are called as quick access toolbars. So certain tools will be quickly available to you. There are certain options which are dynamically available into certain versions of Excel. Initially, when the Excel was invented into market, these options were not so primarily used. But nowadays, these options are very primarily used. The very first is charts. Now, what are charts? A graphical representation of your data. Let's say tomorrow you're creating a data or you have lots of information and you want to analyze, you want to understand the trends, you want to understand the patterns which are being followed. Just by observing numbers, it becomes too difficult to understand that what are the trends, what are the patterns, how the data is showing a dip, how the data is showing a rise. So charts can help us to visualize that information graphically. So charts, an object that displays visually or graphically data validation. Now, as said, that into Excel sheet, I can load any data. In any cell, any data can go. But what if I want to restrict? That this cell will have values such as A, B, C. This cell will have numbers. This cell is going to have ages according to certain criteria. So if I want to validate the data before being entered, the new option which is available to us is data validation, which will validate the data before being entering into the sheet. So this features of MS Excel helps to limit incorrect data from being inserted into the worksheet. Data validation aids consistency and precision of the data to be used or entered within the sheet. Now we saw lots of ribbons which are available. So ribbon over the workbook is a section of command tabs named ribbon. Several options are present behind every tab of the ribbon. That as you see when I'm clicking on different ribbons, the ribbon is showing certain options, certain controls, or the changes of values within the same. So these were certain terminologies which we need to know and understand before proceeding with Excel as a tool, or how to use Excel.
Like this video, subscribe to our channel and comment on the concept you want to learn next.